I'm here with Jane and Juan from Ludanova, and today we'll be taking a look at Polynesia. Hello, can you tell us?
Hello.
Oh, this box cover is super gorgeous. Can you tell us a bit about Polynesia?
Okay, yeah, and just to say the board cover is even more pretty, I think, in real life, because it's actually got like quite a shiny cover. It's the paintwork on there. You can make that out a little bit, but it's very attractive.
Cool.
Special one. Okay. So Polynesia is obviously it's a game by the author is Pierre Sylvester, who as a former sailor himself kind of wanted to pay homage to the Polynesian sailors, who, you know, 30,000 years ago, out of curiosity, went on the search for new lands, and so went exploring. And as you can see, the board is made up of the islands that they went off to explore. Okay, and they learned to navigate using special ways of reading the sea and looking at fish migration. And Pierre wanted to pay homage to this exploration as a sailor himself.
Cool.
Okay, so
nice.
Basically you can see that the board is made up of the series of islands, and then we have the main island, which is a volcano, which I think you guys can make out from that. And this is where Pierre took a little bit of artistic license for the excitement of the game. The idea of the game is you are in charge of a tribe of Polynesian people who are attempting to escape the main island, or need to explore the islands, because the volcano is about to erupt.
Wow.
A little bit of artistic license is allowed here. Okay. So the aim of the game is to get these people away from that main island. Okay. So basically the game is divided into, we can see that there's a turn track on the top left corner here, and basically the game is divided into, the turns are going along the track. The first three parts of the first three stages are the action phases, and then we go into the four kind of maintenance phases. Okay, so Lincoln, if you want to have if we look at you can see that the token is on the top left, and you probably can't see from there, but there's a little number 3 on here. Okay, and the first phases have a 3, and then the next one is a 2, and the next one is a 1. Okay, so during these action phases, okay, we have the little help board that you've got there, the player's aid on your left-hand side, Lincoln, basically explains what we do here in those first 3 action phases. Okay, so here we have the first thing that your little tribal island people can do is that they can go and explore. That is what they are, that is the whole point. Okay, so they take their ships, which Lincoln, if you've got a little boat, one of your little boats, so if you are, Lincoln, I think you're playing, if you imagine that you are a color, that you are the purple one, I think you picked there. Okay, perfect. So this is your little boat. If any of you have seen the film Moana, they look a little bit like that's the idea. This you can go and explore. Basically, you put your boat on any of the little dotted lines that you can see that go between the islands. You can choose any of them. You are exploring, so you can put it on any of them. It doesn't matter which. Obviously, as time goes on, you learn how to play. It's better, better than others. But for the sake of for just showing us now, you put one of these little boats on any of those little dotted lines. One of the dotted lines, exactly. Okay. And in order to put this, as it says on your help card, you have to pay. There's a little circle with an X on there, which tells you that you have to pay the number of depending on where we are on the turn track, on the track at the top, whether we're on the 3, the 2, or the 1, tells us how much we have to pay. And we pay in our resources. And our resources 30,000 years ago were shells and fish.
Cool.
Okay, and so we have to pay, in order to explore that route, we're going to have to pay resources, and we have to pay either 3 shells or 3 fish, or if it's turn 2, action 2, we pay 2 fish or 2 shells or 1. So depending on where you are will influence what you decide you want to do. Okay, so if we decided to do that, Lincoln would choose to put this down. He would put one of these little shells or one of these fish, whichever he decided he wanted to play, he would place this next to his boat. This basically means that this route is a shell route. This is important for later when we want to use this route to travel. Okay, so if he pays 3, he would pay 1 of these tokens goes here, and the other 2 go to back to the discard pile to stop. Okay. Okay, so this is one of our possible actions. Okay. If during the game, if this happens to belong to somebody else, this route already exists, we have the option of also exploring on this route. We can also put one of our boats on this route because we might want to use this. It might be a good way to get from one island to another. We can put another boat there too. But in order to do this, we always have to pay. You can see there on the card, you always have to pay 2 fish or 2 shells to the person who explored this route. They were the adventurers. They were the ones who did the hard work. So they, you have to pay them either 2 fish or 2 shells. This obviously they've already decided this is a shell route or this is a fish route. So you pay them what route they have already chosen, what resource they've already chosen. Okay. Shells in this case. Okay, so if this was me, I would be paying Lincoln 2 shells. Okay.
Got it.
Okay, another option that we can do. Obviously, we want to travel. Our whole aim of the game is to get those people away from that doomed volcano. Again, this depends on the X we can see here. Also, it's influenced by the action that we're on. If we're all playing on action track, we're on the track on 3, on 2, or on 1, we can move 3 times, twice, or once. Okay. So we would take our little tribe members. Okay, so we can see that, Lincoln, if you take your little tribe members, for example, you could take 3 of your tribe members. Now, the first 3 islands that you can see have obviously already been explored by our tribe members, and they are swimmable. So these little tribe members can swim. So for example, you could decide to swim, one little player there, one could go to the other island, and one could go to the other. This would count as three movements.
Okay.
If we're on a different turn, maybe later in the game, you might want to allow your tribe member would be able to travel using one of your boats, and they can move using one of your own boats from one island to the other, and then to the next island, then to the next island. If you have boats, you personally on these routes, this would be three movements. Okay, so you move three times. So this is our traveling movement. Okay. If you are using, now this is where the game gets a little bit special. So Lincoln, can you put for me, please, what have we got? Can you put for me, imagine we're later in the game and some of our players have got a boat. For example, they've got a boat going from one of those islands to one of the next islands, for example, a green boat. If we get a little green ship, okay, that's going across there, perfect. And they obviously will have, this route will have a resource. So for example, they've paid a fish for this resource. We can put a little fish next to that green boat. And this player also has one of his tribe members on the island that it's coming from. The other island where the boat is coming from. Put it here. Okay. So, in the game, me as the purple player, I can decide that I want to travel over to the next island. So in order to do this, I can use my own boat. So I could go to the island that we can see my boat is on, or I can go to using the green boat's route. In order to do this, I need a guide because obviously I don't know the route. These guys are masters of navigation. I've never navigated here. They're going to need to help me. So me and Lincoln's green player, both of us are going to travel on this route because I need my guide. So these two players, these two pieces will now be moved from, I will move my purple player and the green player exactly across to the other island. And in order to do this, I obviously need to pay for this, and I would be paying the green player 1 fish for this move. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, he can't refuse. He's my guide.
No choice.
He's got no choice in this, obviously. Okay. Obviously, this influences greatly and limits your moves throughout the game. You have to choose your timing. Matters a lot based on this. You can't just move and pay. You have to have a guide, and so you have to choose this movement as and when you've got your player, another person's player with you on the island. Okay. Okay. Another of the options then that we've got on our little game player's aid, if we can see that, another one of the actions that we can do in these first three is we can populate, we can reproduce. Okay, from our personal board, we've got tribe members. The game begins with 5 of our tribe members on the island. However, on our personal game board, have you got one of those there? You can see that we have got other tribe members are on our personal board. Okay, the rest of our tribe are here. In order to populate, we take our members from let's say this is like somewhere else on the island, okay, and we're taking them and we're going to put them ready to travel. Okay, we're preparing them for their voyage. Put 3 of them on the main island, or we can populate on one of the islands that we have already explored. So if we do this, it clearly says on our player's aid that we can put 1 player on one of the islands where we already have people on one of the islands further away, one like this, for example, it's just got a little sun. Or we can prepare 3 people for travel, and we put an extra 3 people onto the island. Now, this is very important. Our aim of our game is to save our tribe.
Right.
Okay. And so we will see when it comes to getting points in the game that this is important, obviously. And so we want to get the people, we want to populate in order to get the people away from further inland and get them out to sea, away from doom. Okay. And our other action is just simply to collect resources. This X again, depending on where we are on that 3, that 2 other 1, we are taking we take 3 resources, 2 resources, or 1 resource. Okay. This depends obviously on what you think you might need in order to travel, or
choose 1 resource and just take 3 or 1 depending
on where you are
on the track.
Okay. So every player plays this. They play the round of 3, and then we play a round with the 2 and the round of 1 on the action rounds. Okay. So we play the action, the player's aid. We play this 3 times. Okay. So if we imagine that we've done the 3, and then we do exactly the same thing with the 2 and with the 1, each player choosing one of these actions. Lincoln, if we imagine we've played this round, we've played this round, and then we go on to. Okay. Yeah, can you flip the tokens, please? Okay, so the tokens are distributed around the board in the setup, and the ones with the cross on them are removed from the game. These don't count. Okay, so any of the ones that Lincoln that you've got with the cross can go. Okay, the others have got on them symbols. Some of them are simply a turtle. This is points. Turtles are points. We can see that there are turtles also on the board. The further away, you can see the far islands give us points at the end of the game. Once you reach these islands, because you've got one far away. There are also some of these tokens are turtles. We've also got masks and resources that the first people to get to those islands get the token. Okay, and this will also the cards. We'll talk about the cards in a moment. Okay. Okay, so we pass on to the volcano. the exciting part, the imminent doom.
Oh
Okay, we have a little black bag that has got in it some tokens. Okay, some cubes. The player lava cubes, lava rocks. That's not magic. Lava rocks. Okay, so we take the starter player, the player who's playing this track. Okay, takes one of the cubes from the bag. And this cube, oh, it's a red one. This means
that doesn't sound good.
Red is never good. Okay. This means the volcano is, rumbling and is starting to spit a little bit. So there are red cubes, there are gray cubes, and there is a black cube. So basically the game has got 6 red cubes, 3 gray ones, and 1 black one. The smoke. Okay. We pull one out at a time. Okay. Once the 6 red cubes have appeared, that is, the volcano has fully erupted, killing anybody on the island.
No.
And anybody on the islands that we can swim to. This is a big volcano. Okay. So nobody is safe if they have just swum to those first 3 islands, or anybody who is on the island.
Yeah.
Basically, these 6 red cubes are end of the game. However, there are gray cubes, so these could mean a possible extension to the game, or the volcano is not quite ready to erupt yet.
Okay.
Or the black cube. If we pull out the black cube, this is smoke, as one said. We have to pull out 2 more cubes. Okay, so basically the game consists of 6 to 9 rounds. Minimum of 6, maximum of 9, and we don't 100% know when that volcano, like in real life, when that game is going to, that volcano is going to erupt. We are guessing. The imminent doom. Okay. So one of these cubes is pulled, and the volcano at the end of with the volcano symbol here. Okay, so then we go on to the next. We pass on to the decline. Okay, so if you could move that, Lincoln, onto the next track. Yep, this one. So this moves on to the next section, and this is now decline. Yep. Okay. This means that the starting player, again, the same player, decides which resource is now going to go into decline, either shells or fish. They can choose that everybody, including themselves, now has to give up all of their fish or all of their shells. So,
oh no.
They themselves as well, they will give up everything. So if these
always a very important decision.
Yeah.
Based on what you have or what you think the others are going to take advantage of, obviously.
So could you decide on something that you don't have? Like if I have no fish,
obviously. That would be the ideal situation. Okay, it's not always
awesome. Okay.
Simply that. Okay, and the next one is the collection. So we lose all of something, but soon hopefully we will gain some back. Depending on the islands, you can see that there's little symbols next to each island. The islands have this resource. So if we have tribe members on these islands, and we can take a resource. In this situation, you would see, for example, the purple person would take 2 fish because they've got a fish island here, and they've got another fish member on the next island. And all the green person would take 1 fish. Just because they've got more members on there doesn't mean that they can have more.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Gotcha.
It's the island that you are on, so you take either fish, and some of these are shells. You can see some of the other islands have a little yellow symbol. So if you're on one of those islands, you would take a shell. Okay, so we collect our resources, and then the next stage is simply now the starter player passes over to the next player in the game. Okay, so the starter token would go over to the next person, and then we go through the whole process again. Okay, 6 times or 9 times, all depending on that volcano.
Awesome. And Polynesia, is this for 2 to 4 players?
That's right.
2 to 4 players.
There is the board that we're on at the moment is for 2 to 3 players, and the reverse of the board is for 4 players. It's the same, but the island distribution and the routes, etc., are a little bit different. Okay.
Gotcha. And how long does a game typically take to play?
An hour more or less. No?
Yeah,
Between 45 minutes is for 6 rounds. Could be an hour.
we played. The other day the Volcano survived a long time. We played all 9 rounds.
Yeah,
it took
9
about an hour and a
rounds
half.
is 70
Cool.
minutes more
Yeah.
or less.
I really love the artwork on the board. And you're getting some love in the chat as well. The way the water looks like an ocean, like the different varying blues and greens is super cool. And I love the volcano too, and the whole mechanic of at the end of the round, like, oh, now we have to pull 2 more. Oh yeah, I love games like that. My friends and I call them sack games.
Yeah, the illustrator is Laura Bibon.
Laura Bevan, who's
okay.
she's really respected. You mentioned the colors of the game. Like Pio really wanted that one of the navigation techniques that they used in here was using the watercolor to be able to navigate, and so this is why she's kind of demonstrated this with the different colors of the Pacific, etc. Okay, so in the points at the end of the game, we also have the cards. I'm sure that's Lincoln keeps wanted to show us them at the beginning. So there are 3 piles of cards. On the back of these, there's a number 1 and a number 2 and a number 3. Okay. These are shuffled in the 3 piles at the beginning of the game, and 3 of the cards are turned over from each of these numbers. These cards can either ways that we can gain points at the end of the game, or they're advantages that they give us while we are playing. Okay. Do you want to explain a little bit more about this?
Yeah, some of them are related to the mask tokens. Another usually is just change some rules and scoring a way to scoring at the end of the game. So change a lot from game to game, because you place always with 3 cards,
some variety.
3 cards the whole game.
Exactly.
So
those
cards change everything totally.
How do you get these cards?
They're literally at the beginning of the game, they're turned over, and we all know at the beginning of the game what we're either aiming for, because they're based on the points. For example, I think each player gains 2 points for each archipelago that they've managed to travel to. Or, for example, they give us advantages of resources, could mean something over there. For example, if you manage to get masks in the game, then you immediately can put a tribe member on that island, etc. So,
gotcha. Okay.
At the beginning of the game, every game is completely different based on these cards. Okay, so we basically gain points by the aims, the objectives that are on these cards, or the turtles that I mentioned before that you can see on the board. There are, the further we travel, obviously the better for us. So we've got turtles, they're generally on the islands that are furthest away from or the most difficult to get to. I think you can just make out right at the bottom of the board, one of the islands has 2 turtles, because this island is particularly difficult. It looks close to the main island, but it's really difficult to get.
Gotcha.
So each one of these turtles is 1 point. And then saving our tribe members. So if we have a look at our personal boards, at the personal board that we've got, the people that the game begins with 5. The five members go to the island to travel. All the other tribe members are on this board. Okay. So these numbers represent points. At the end of the game, as I said before, all the tribe members that don't survive, that perish in the volcano, so are either on the main island or on these 3 islands, they come back to our board. Okay, so if we don't save them, we bury them on the island, or they're buried on the island.
Okay.
And obviously, when we take members, when we populate, we take members from the lowest number. So from the number 2, 3, okay, the first 5 with 0, 1, 2, they're already on the main island. And the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they go onto the island as we populate. If they die, they come back. Okay, and so obviously at the end of the game, however many the lowest the empty part of the board is the points that you get. So if, for example, Lincoln, if you want to bring back, I don't know, 5 people who've all died from the volcano, the poor things, okay, they should, yeah, and we put them on the 7. So they would
decreasing the amount of points you get at the end of the game.
Exactly. Okay, so these people would obviously be black, not green.
Yeah. Charred
people. Okay. May they rest in peace. Okay, if this was this player's endgame, then they would be getting 4 points for having saved everybody else. Okay, and got them far away from this main island.
Very
okay,
cool.
So the points are this: the cards, the turtles, and saving your tribe members.
Awesome. And what would you say? There was a question in the chat about the complexity level of the game.
The game is not a family game. The rules are very simple, and the rule book is short, but the game is very deep. It's a game for gamers.
Yeah.
So you explain in 10 minutes, and you play in an hour, but it's definitely
strategy.
Yeah, it's quite deep game. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, and I think that
completely.
The player aids are great, and all the iconography on the board and on the player aids and everywhere seems like it would be like straightforward to get into. But having that whole the way the rounds count down, and that number depending on the round you're on is the cost for things, or the amount, you know, the way you can move. That's a lot of stuff, like interesting stuff to think about.
Lot of things to, yeah, and you need to have the timing of the game. The timing of the game is very difficult. You always need to have an eye in all the players. Very interactive game.
Cool.
Because you need to travel with them in order to use their routes, and
but you're helping them move along.
Yeah, it's a very easy game to understand everything, but then it's quite to control it. Yeah.
You really get the impression when you play that every game is completely different, even though you're building your knowledge and the way that you play. At the same time, you know, it's quite good. You get better at exploring, but it's not necessarily to your advantage.
Right.
Every time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And one last quick question, and then we have to hop off. But how can people get Polynesia?
Depend where they from. In the States, it will be in the store maybe, I don't know. I don't know the dates, but probably at the end of the year or at the start of the next year.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, this looks great. So thank you so much, Jane and Juan, for showing us Polynesia.
Okay, thank you to you.
Thank you very much.